Okay, so the next stage of this little project is to do some sketches based on the Barbara Hepworth work that you've looked at and the images that you've collected in on your pages of research. You can use obviously other images as well that you found on the internet, but I suggest either you print out your slides, your two slides here, and have them in front of you on your desk or wherever, or your table when you're working, because you need to refer to the sculptures, because you're gonna pull some ideas from. You're not going to copy them, but you're going to create your own shape, your own sculpture designs ready to carve in soap. So you need those images in front of you. You don't have to print them out. They could just be on your laptop screen or your computer screen whilst you're drawing, or on the screen of your phone, or an iPad of some sort, or a tablet. Just have some of Barbara Hepworth's work there in front of you to inspire you, and that's the whole reason why we did the research, is to inspire you. So here's the sheet that I've already prepared, I've already done. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11 ideas, so around 10 ideas would be great. You can see I've done some landscape, 3 at the top there, and I've done most of them kind of portrait, you can call it that, but obviously they're kind of upright and these ones are lying down. They all have something in common, they all have the hole. Okay, so that's a really key feature of Barbara Hepworth's work, was these holes, because they created a window to see other things through and make you look through the sculpture instead of just at it, and that was a key element of hers. And she also had a lot of these kind of areas that are kind of not cut all the way through, but they're cut into the surface of the sculptures to make them a bit more dynamic. Then they're never kind of, very rarely are they a completely flat surface. There's usually these kind of gouged kind of areas scooped out of the wood or the stone or the marble, whatever material she was carving in. So I'm going to have a go. I'm going to have a go at drawing some more of these sketches, these ideas. You can do more than 10 if you want. You can do a couple of pages. I actually want you to do a couple of pages if you can, but as long as you've got 10 ideas, that would be great. And obviously you're going to use one of these ideas, or one or two of these ideas to carve in soap. So they need to be realistic, they need to be viable, you need to be able to do them. They can't be too complicated. Obviously Barbara Hepworth's work is complicated sometimes, but this style of sculpture was kind of her. If we go back to the PowerPoint, it's these types of sculptures that we're kind of looking at recreating in our soap. So just move that to one side. So to begin with, I'm just going to work out kind of how big I want my sketches to be. So this is a little bit of a little bit of a tutorial in how to sketch as well. So I'm going to start actually down at the bottom of my sheet. And first of all, what I'm going to do is each design is going to have a flat kind of base. So I'm just going to sketch myself. I'm going to put 4 here, 4 bases there, just 4 quick sketched lines. Obviously with a pencil, make sure your pencil's sharp. And obviously all the pencils the only thing you need is a pencil as well. You might need a rubber, but we aren't going to make any mistakes, okay? And any mistakes we're going to make, we're going to cover up anyway. So the first one I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of draw a rough kind of box to distinguish the shape of my the kind of height and the width of my idea, okay? And then that's called crating, okay? So we're going to draw a little crate, little box, and then we're going to start to draw inside that box. So the extremities of my idea are going to fit inside that box. I can go outside that box if I wanted to. So this shape is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 4 sides. This side's going to be curved, this side's going to be a straight line, and a little curve there and a straight line, there's another straight line. She didn't use many straight lines in her work, but I'm going to do an idea like that just because I feel like it. And then this idea I'm going to have 2 holes. Don't go too crazy with the holes. You don't want to turn it into a piece of Swiss cheese, or Swiss soap. So yeah, I like that idea. And I'm going to do the next one. So next one's going to be maybe slightly taller. Obviously, it depends on the shape of the soap. I should mention, obviously, that you've got to hand. If you've got a thinner bar of soap, then you might want to draw that rectangle. If you've got a shorter, wider piece of soap, then kind of draw this crate, this box. And you can see when I draw the crate, the box, I'm doing it very lightly as well. I'm not pressing on hard with my pencil, but I am pressing on hard, or harder, when I start to draw my idea. This time I'm going to have a large hole there, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Again, this box, okay, and then the idea is that your design, your sketch fits inside that box, or there or thereabouts. Okay, so you're not drawing a frame. It's not a frame, so you're not drawing boxes. Okay, in fact, I'll show you what not to do. So don't draw your crate like this and then draw your shape inside it like that. Please do not do that. Okay, it's not a frame. Okay, what you're doing is you're saying, well, this is the width of my shape, total width, this is the total height, and then each side of the shape, or the shape that you're drawing, will touch the sides of that crate somewhere. Again, it's going to be a bit of go a bit crazy with this one. 3 more sides, that's going to get in and in it. But you can see I'm sticking to the kind of aesthetic, the way that Barbara Hepworth's work is formed, natural forms. You can imagine these as kind of big pieces of stone, call them monoliths. So there we go. So I've got my 4 ideas, first 4. I'm going to do my next 4 above that. Again, just going to draw my crates. Crates are very rough and light. Space them out fairly evenly. Okay, I'm being very quick. Okay, very light with the pencil. Do some more. Be a bit more interesting with the shape. This time that's a bit more complex. Just remember, the more complex you make the shape, you've got to actually be able to carve this. But you do want it to be interesting. But you obviously got to keep it so that it's Barbara Hepworth like. So with this one, I'm going to go in at the top, create this little kind of dip here, and then the last 2 or 3 I'm just going to do 2. These ones are going to be on their side, same crate, but obviously I've rotated it round so it's landscape. This time the bottom's going to be flat, so it's going to lie on its side. I'm going to do more of it. Remember, obviously Barbara Hepworth got her kind of inspiration from pebbles, so I'm going to make some of these pebble-like. I'm going to put 2 holes in this one. This one's going to have a large hole there. So I'm not really thinking about it too hard. The holes can be round, or they can be oval. They can be in line with each other. One big, one small, whatever you feel like. So I've very quickly created my 10 ideas. Now to finish them off and kind of make them look a bit more 3-dimensional, and we're talking about obviously that 3D form. Obviously these are 2-dimensional forms. They're on a page, okay, they're flat, but we want to make them look like they're 3-dimensional. So what I'm going to start to do now is add a bit of shading. First of all, I'm going to add some shading around the holes. Now the way I'm going to do this takes quite a bit of pencil control, but you can see what I'm doing is rotating the pencil around the hole that I've created, and as I move further out I get lighter. I take the pressure off my pencil. Now I'll slow that down, basically going round and round and round and round and round, and as I do I'm going to get wider and wider and wider and wider and lighter and lighter, and that kind of creates this effect of the hole is kind of going into the shape. So I'm pressing on much harder there, and as I move my pencil out, I'm taking the pressure off my pencil, starting darker and getting lighter. Let's try it on this one. It's quite a big one. And you can do, I mean, you can do this very slowly, look. I mean, if you want to take your time, or you can do it in sections as well. You can kind of do it like I'm doing here with my pencil, taking it kind of a little bit at a time as well. If you're not confident and quick enough to go all around with your pencil like that. You see I'm starting darker, getting lighter, and that creates this kind of idea that it's been gouged out. Now on some of them you might want to take the bottom or the top or the side lower. So if I keep shading and going lower and lower and lower, again it gives it that sense of that the whole is going inwards, almost like a tunnel. And I'm going to do that on all of those holes. Okay, I'm going to do all that, and that's I'm going to do all that first. I'm not going to while I'm practicing this, and the more you do it, the better you will get. Okay, I've done 3 already. Keep going. Okay, until you've done all of them. So you should do something like this on all of them there. The next thing to do is think about areas that you want to try to you're going to carve out. Again, these are still very flat, and you can see on my finish sheet what I've done is I've created these shaded areas, and they represent areas that I'm going to scoop out with my spoon or my knife. I'm going to scoop that out with the soap. So it's up to you where you put those. So on this one, I'm going to have an area here. Now what I've done first of all is I'm just going to draw a line for the area. I'm not going to press on as hard as the outline. Okay, so I'm just shading that in, and then I'm going to shade it in. The way I'm going to shade it in, I'm going to shade it in with lines, straight lines. Okay, so you can see my movement of my pencil is a straight line going across there like that. Okay, and then I'm going to have a little bit carved out of here. This one's going to be curved, so I'm going to do a curved line, and then to indicate it's carved out, again straight lines all the way across. You see the movement of my pencil is straight. So on this one, I'm going to carve out this bottom area here. You can see that I'm going to carry on that curve round down there. So this area. So again, straight line all the way across like that. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of an area out here as well. So I suppose 2 or 3, little one here as well, 2 or 3 areas, 2 or 3 scoops out of the side, I suppose you'd call it, or the edge of your shape. Same on this one. I'm going to go straight on this one. Okay, I'm just going to do my shading very slowly this time, so you can see. So just taking my pencil from there to there, all the way down in a straight line. Not scribbling. Okay, I'm not going back and forth with my pencil. I'm not colouring it in. Okay, I'm being very purposeful. So I'm going to scoop out this area as well. I'm being very purposeful, and I'm going to use the same. I'm going to go the same direction with my pencil as well. There we go. I'm going to have a straight line here as well, like that. Okay, so that's the second kind of stage, and you should end up with something that looks like that. So you can see that on all these areas, I've used those straight lines to shade in areas that I'm going to be, I'm going to be scooping out, carving out of my ideas. So the last stage then is to outline them, and this outlining technique is really to make them pop out from the page. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to press them very hard with my pencil. I'm going to go all the way around the outside of this shape, and it's going to be quite rough. Okay, I'll do that again. So quite rough. You want the pencil to be almost black. I'm going to go all the way around it. It's supposed to be rough, and it's supposed to be quick, and you can really see the ideas popping out and standing out from the page, particularly on this one. I pressed them quite hard. I think it's just the light reflecting on the pencil there, but you can see it's almost black. I'll do another one here, but it's very quick, quite rough when you get to do this with curves. Okay, these aren't perfect drawings. They're not going to take you a long time. They're going to be very quick sketches. And then the last thing I'm going to do to finish these off is a shadow. And the shadow is just going to come out from the bottom here. I'm not going to create a shadow the same shape as it probably would be realistically. I'm going to just create a shadow by going back and forth with my pencil. And as I move down away from the object, I'm going to get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and then I'm going to take the pressure off my pencil completely. Let's do that again. Press on very hard. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Very light. And there you go. And it just, just gives the impression that this is an object. It's standing on a surface. I could draw the surface line in as well, I suppose, there. Okay, just do this one. Lighter and lighter and lighter. And it just gives it that impression that it is sitting on a surface. It is a three-dimensional object. It does have mass. It does have shape, or form, should I say. Okay, so we're talking about form. Okay, always talking about form when we talk about 3D. So you should end up with something that looks like this. Now, you could copy my ideas quite easily from this video, from these sheets, but I would really like you to explore your own shapes. Really like you to come up with your own Barbara Hepworth 3D sketches or forms ready to take one or two of these to use in your soap carving. So there you go. So only a pencil, piece of paper, and you can create these beautiful sketches, these beautiful forms. One page would be great. 2 pages would be absolutely fantastic, because when we get back to school we can put these next to each other in your sketchbook. So 2 pages of these would be actually ideal. So 20 ideas, 20 sketches, 20 Barbara Hepworth forms. And there you go.